at yourself in the mirror. Turn that frown upside down. Show what you're working with. You can't depend on someone else to see your future. That part is up to you. Be a leader. You are a leader. You are a leader. Rising right up the rank.
All right. Good morning. Good afternoon. Actually, for me, because I am in Santa Fe, New Mexico, it is still good morning. I know Ricky's out east, so it's probably good afternoon for him. My name is Ramon Lowe. I'm the Director of Membership and Industry Engagement for AMAC, and this is Legends and Leapers, the Legends and Leapers virtual program, where it really is more than anything an opportunity for Lauryn and Ricky to kind of just drill down on our guests and have a little bit of fun, but a lot of education as well and more fun. Anyway, before I hand it off to Lauryn and Ricky, I just want to make a couple of announcents from the national office. First and foremost, I know it's been a little bit less than a month ago or so, but I'm going to say it anyway. Women in Aviation, if you were in Atlanta and you joined us for the event, thank you for attending. Thank you to all of our sponsors for supporting the event, especially our partners, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. I can say, and Lauryn and Ricky can attest to this, it exceeded our expectation. And for those who didn't make it, shame on you. We're going to hold you to it so you can attend next year. But anyway, thank you for attending Women in Aviation, and just keep an eye out because we will be announcing probably some dates, locations, and initiatives in the coming months or so with for 2025. The second announcement I want to make mention of is we are doing our first annual, at least from what I understand to be our first AMAC Member Week, starting November 12th. And basically it starts off with our member orientation. Again, if you're a new member or a new-ish member, I strongly urge you to attend. We're gonna have some key members, board members, et cetera, committee chairs that will be on kind of sharing bits of wisdom on how to maximize your membership with AMAC. So it's definitely a great introduction and even a refresher as far as the organization and all our mission and all the committees that we host. So I definitely suggest that you guys, register and make sure that you attend. You can go on our events calendar on the AMAC website. And the last of my announcements is we have begun renewals for 2025. So if you are a member on this call, I know there are many, you should have received an email from national office, in most instances from my email address, kind of making announcements as far as some of the changes to membership, especially to the benefits. We've expanded them and they're more comprehensive, so there's a ton more value as far as membership to AMAC. Please make sure you renew. And if you are a small business member, there are three new tiers, small, medium, and large. Please make sure you go into your profile and select one of those size categories so that we can kind of invoice you accordingly. So with that, because you're not really here for me, and sometimes you are not here for our guests, but really for Lauryn and Ricky, I'm going to hand it off to our hosts. Take care.
Well, actually, they all are here for me. Lauryn is really supporting the host of the show. And so, Ramon, you keep working it, man. You'll get it right eventually. So anyway, it is afternoon here. Good afternoon. It's good to know that you're joining us for this virtual session, Legends and Leapers. Lauryn and I are always excited to introduce new guests, new panelists, to explore new questions, new issues, new topics from a different perspective. And so it's always both inspiring and entertaining. Both of us, Lauryn and I, are just returning from a day-and-a-half retreat in New Mexico. That's why Ramon is still leaving New Mexico, a very successful retreat that involved what we call the enterprise, because it was AMAC Trade Board, as well as the Foundation Board, and representative from the chapters. So again, and the ALC. John Clark was there representing the ALC. So again, good session. So we're kind of fired up. And so you may see that energy from me. You never see much energy from Lauryn, but I just think you guys have grown to expect that. So as you know, the way Legends and Leapers works is we try to bring two individuals together from try to fool ourselves into thinking that they bring a different perspective. That is not always the case, but the legend is supposed to be someone who's been around for a while, more established in the industry, more experienced perhaps. It's probably on the upside of his or her career. The leaper is someone who is not necessarily hasn't been around for a while, but perhaps not as prominent or known in the industry, still on the rise and emerging talent or professional in the industry, someone who is still making his or her mark. And so we bring those two together to try to get a different perspective on whatever the questions might be asked. Speaking of questions, we do not tell them the questions in advance. You guys knew that, right? We don't tell you the questions in advance, and that adds to kind of the how genuine the responses are, and some of the honest responses that we get. So with that being said, I will be quiet before I'm interrupted by Lauryn, who will do whatever it is Lauryn's going to do next. Lauryn, what are you going to do? I don't know.
Ricky, I don't know how long the altitude affects one from New Mexico, but clearly you're still trying to recover. So thank you for that long introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm going to try to keep the intros of the more important people brief, because Ramon and Ricky took up half of our time here. I will say really quickly, if you do and or don't know Kenneth or Shetl, please drop questions in the chat and or utilize the Q&A to be able to ask them questions. Ricky, make any more noise. That would be great. And we'll be able to answer those too. So I'm going to get us started. I think Shetl said that the theme of today is age before beauty. So Kenneth Buchanan is a seasoned business professional with over 35 years of industry experience in revenue management, operations management, sales, merchandising technology, marketing, and customer experience. At DFW International Airport, Mr. Buchanan is responsible for the customer experience, terminal management, concessions, market research, and parking operation departments. Ken directs these teams to explore innovations that allow DFW Airport to adjust to fluid market dynamics to provide an exceptional customer experience and expand revenues. In 2022, this included supporting over 229 concession businesses, rental car businesses, advertising sponsors, and transportation that served over 79 million passengers, with projections to exceed 80 million passengers this year, resulting in over $189.1 million in revenue. Before his time with DFW Airport, he held executive level positions at PepsiCo, Kroger Corp., Kmart, and Information Resources Inc. He also served as the Director of Strategic Initiatives for Coors Inc. Mr. Buchanan graduated with a bachelor's in business administration from the University of Memphis, earned his master's in business administration focusing on marketing from Jackson State University, and received his certificate in business excellence through Columbia Business School Executive Education. Now, I'm going to take a sip of water to collect myself. Woo, all right. It didn't look like that much on the screen, but then when I started saying it, I said, okay, he's definitely the legend. All right. So
that says he's old. That's what it says. He's old.
It says he's seasoned. He's seasoned with a whole lot more than just a little salt and pepper. So Shetl Petro currently serves as the operations manager overseeing leasing and contracts at Fraport, New York, JFK Terminal 5. With over 15 years of experience in the aviation industry, she has developed a well-rounded expertise by working across diverse roles in operations and strategic planning. Her background spans from airline management, terminal operations, safety, security, and commercial oversight, making her, she called herself seasoned. Salt and pepper, yes. But a professional adept at navigating the complexities of the industry. One of her proudest achievements is that she played a key role in securing the 2023 Greenest Terminal Award for Terminal 4. That achievement marked a significant milestone as they became the world's first airport concession certified as green restaurants. Through innovative strategies and commitment to sustainability, she has helped pave the way for this groundbreaking recognition, setting a new standard for eco-friendly practices in the aviation industry. She oversees some key safety initiatives to enhance aviation safety, and also commercial initiatives that spans across several initiatives as well. She holds a master's degree in business administration with a specialization in finance, equipping her with robust analytical skills essential for navigating complex operational challenges. And advanced education empowers her to make data-driven decisions that enhance efficiency and drive success in the aviation industry. When she's not doing all of that, she enjoys traveling, exploring authentic restaurants, and capturing memorable moments through photography.
Thank you.
I'm gonna inhale some oxygen, Ricky, and then you take it away. So I want to start off a little bit, guys. Shetl, so people, Ken is Ken. Everyone knows Mr. Buchanan, but I feel like even though you've been in the industry for a little bit, you said seasoned, you're a little salt and pepper. Kenneth got some Old Bay. He got some Lowry's. He got all the stuff that you use to, make a meal. You kind of just, we got a little seasoning on the sides right now, right? That's the difference
I'll
between
take the
legends and leaders.
season back. I'll
There
take
you
it
go.
back.
There you go.
Yes, I'm a newbie.
Yeah, considering, right? But in
Yes.
all seriousness, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So, cultural wise, I'll divert it that way. I was born and raised in Germany. I'm originally German, but also a little bit of Indian descent, South Asian. My parents were born in Afghanistan and moved to India. So I follow two cultures literally. I moved back in 2008 to the United States to get my bachelor's done. Well, my second bachelor's, let's put it that way. I had one bachelor's in Germany as a nutritionist, and then I wanted to pursue my career in finance and accounting. And I decided, I was like, where can I go and where can I travel and just be away from Germany? And I decided to come to the United States.
So you got your first bachelor's in nutrition, and then you decided to go for another one in finance. Make that make sense in my mind for me, please.
So nutrition, I was always when I grew up, I always wanted to be a doctor. It's one of the, one of the professions that your parents tell you when you grow up. You have to be a lawyer, you have to be a doctor. So I was always into biology and always wanted to study. And I did some internships in the hospitals. So it kind of drove the interest, and I went ahead and I studied that. But then eventually, my parents own also a business in Germany. It's a restaurant. I grew up also in the restaurant business. So I was dealing a lot with numbers. So that's how I was like, oh, wait, I like numbers. I like math. So that's how I drove to finance.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. And then real quick, English is your second language?
That's my third language.
What are your first two?
My first language is German. And then second, I speak Sindhi, and I speak some Hindi. And then third would be my English.
And Kenneth, what about you?
I speak one language. It's English, and it's English, and it's English.
Which in and of itself is like three languages, right?
But my story, some find it interesting. My passion was on the private sector of business. I wanted to run and lead a Fortune 500 company, and I was fortunate enough to work for some really, really good companies. Actually, I was commuting to PepsiCo from Dallas to Purchase, New York. And, trying to raise a young family at the same time, it became just overwhelming and daunting. And so I actually joined the airport to bring kind of work-family balance back into my life. I had no intention that I would be here 20 years later. My goal was to come into this industry, which I had no idea what it was about. To only be maybe 1 or 2 years to make the adjustment, get the family back in a good place. And then I'm going back to where the action is, and that's the private sector. I'm going to continue and pick up my career there. But I got bit by the aviation bug. in my first year here. And, I look back 20 years later, I'm still here. And I tell everybody, I am as excited about this industry and where we're going than I was 20 years ago. And I guess that's why I continue to stay in it. That every day is different, every day is exciting, and the ability to make a lasting impact, not just locally, but nationally and even globally, was something that I had not experienced in my former career. So, that bug bit me real hard, and I've been here ever since.
Well, Ken, that speaks to not only have you been here 20 years, you've been impactful for 20 years, and so that speaks a lot speaks a lot about you. So earlier there was reference to the She Soars conference or summit that was held in Atlanta, and during that conference, at least the first day, I was there for the first day. During one of the panel sessions, there was some discussion around the role men play or can play in creating opportunities for women. And I think that question is asked often, but I think that question might suggest that there aren't women who are opening doors for women, right? And so I'm going to ask you if you can talk about a woman other than your mother or your aunt or your grandmother that you would say has been or continues to be instrumental in your professional life, and that you would attribute some portion of your success to.
Wow, for me, man, that is real easy. I don't have to look past DFW Airport to know that, women, and the men may get a little bit upset for me saying this, but women run DFW Airport. When I think back on, for example, when I started in 2005, my very first hire, the very first person I hired to be my partner here, to help move and develop programs and move our airport forward was Zanola Campbell. Zanola's been with me for, oh my God, 18 years now. She was the very first person I hired. The head of my customer experience and terminal management team is led by a female vice president, Sharon McCloskey, and two assistant vice presidents, Megan and Courtney. So most of the leadership roles that really run my business are females. And I can go down throughout my entire organization, from terminal managers to my operations area, busing, you name it. That's been one of the probably one of my success factors, in that I surround myself with strong, competent, capable women, and boy, do they get it done.
Ken should be on the panel next year at the next She Soars.
I think so. I think so. Maybe one day Ken will share the story of when he and I met.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, let's get part two response to that question.
Yeah. Yep.
Where's the part two? So actually, now that I'm thinking, I actually was always hired by a female as well. But I have to give the men a little kudos, because when I first moved to this country and I was working in the mall, I was actually running a store for someone, and there was a person who came over to purchase something, and he did actually give me his card. He started speaking in German with me, and he said, "Why don't you actually apply for Lufthansa?" And I said, "Well, I am not familiar, and I'm new in this country." So he actually gave me the card, and I did apply, and my first job was here with Lufthansa airline. And actually, thanks to a man, since then I am actually in aviation.
So he gave you his card while you were working in the mall.
He actually came to shop and buy something. And for some reason, the manager said, well, that person speaks German. And I went, introduced myself. We got into a small dialogue, and he ended giving me his card and said, why don't you apply for a German airline? And I said, oh, can you give me some guidance? He said, here's my card. Just reach out with your resume. I did. And boom, I was in the airport. Since that day, that's 2010, if not earlier. 2010, beginning of the year. Since then, I am here in aviation.
All right.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
So-
ahead, Ricky.
Now, so earlier, I don't know if it was you, Lauren, or or Ken who used the term street creds. Ken, you certainly have street creds in this industry, right? And that comes with the stuff you talked about over the last 20 years, but it comes from the impact that you've made on this industry and the impact that you continue to make. But we also have an emerging group of professionals who would probably contend that, even though they're not at street creds level, they are making an impact that they're bringing a fresh perspective. Which of those, and this is for both of you, which of those is most important? Is it most important that we have, this influence of street creds, or we have the influence of, fresh perspective?
Yeah, I'll take a stab at that. For me, it was discovering one's passion. You can say street cred and all the different experience, but I think what I attribute to my longevity and success at DFW and in the industry is finding that passion. That I've worked for some great companies in different industries, different parts of the country, but I've never felt in those organizations the way I feel in this organization. I never felt that I can make a difference. I mean, a profound difference in the lives of my community and business owners, small business owners, minority business owners. Heck, we used to celebrate 3%. If we did 3% with a small business or a minority business, we would celebrate that like we thought we were doing something.
Yeah, that was a long time
And
ago.
to be part of an organization where as much as 50+% of your business can be attributed to small business, women-owned businesses, minority businesses. You see the impact that you have on the community. You see the impact that you have in helping, people, generate wealth and create wealth. And you see that play back into the community in a very, very profound way. And to be able to challenge yourself and those around you to continue to step up, continue to do more, continue to do more. To me, that's what made this whole journey so exciting, enjoyable. When I was working in the private sector, I worked, say, for PepsiCo, and Coca-Cola was my enemy. I'm going to take Coca-Cola down at all costs. This industry is a little different, that I openly and willingly help, what could be viewed as competitors of the airports, businesses. The amount of information and data that we share to uplift and help one another is unique. It's very unique. And then the global perspective that, I was making impacts on the national and local level, but since I joined this industry, to have the global reach that we have in our business, to me is amazing. So to me, it's the passion that you can discover in this industry to truly make a difference and make an impact is unlike probably any other industry that I've been in. And so to me, that's what's important. I guess that's, you get that street cred, the more you do, and the more you do and the more you enjoy, and the passion that you have, and then know that you're making such a difference. That's exciting.
Is that more or less important than the fresh perspective?
I think it's more important for me because think about it. You can spend an entire career searching for that purpose, that purpose in life, and you long for something more than just say a job and a paycheck. To me, this industry afforded me that opportunity, and a lot of people that I talk to, whether they're business associates, partners, or colleagues, they say similar things. They say similar things, and I think that's what is unique about this industry.
All right.
Yeah,
I've never heard
I
anyone
am.
put it like that, but it just made it all make sense, Ken.
Yes.
Thank you.
I agree to his words. It has to be passion. The passion makes you go, 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 and you want to help and you want to be here. And there is a point you don't even think about the paycheck and job anymore. It's all about passion. It's about helping people and taking the best out of them.
Hmm.
And if the passion's there, it doesn't matter if it's coming from an OG or a rookie.
That's right.
Passion that will drive, yes.
So, sorry, excuse me. Shetl, so you started with the airline,
That's correct.
and this was about, let's say, 14 years ago.
Yes.
Can you kind of talk a little bit about, and we can keep on along the lines of passion, but what kept you going and how did your career continue to change within the industry? Because everyone's, you get in one place, right? And then all of a sudden that trajectory sometimes gets a little twisty and windy and everything else. What did that look like for you?
So I have to say, when I started with the airlines, with Lufthansa Airline, I did work with them about 3 years. And then I was like, okay, I need to go back to my numbers. And I wanted to leave aviation. I did go back to accounting and I worked in the city and for an architecture firm. For 6 months, I was literally bored. I just didn't want to sit behind the computer and just do numbers. I was missing that vibe, the atmosphere, the passengers coming, and that hustle at the airport. So I actually came back, started working then with Air Berlin and Etihad Airways, and that's where I was like, okay, now I'm with the airlines. You do everything, and then I was approached for terminal management, and I ended up with T4 JFK IAT, which I worked a little less than 10 years with them, and once I joined them and was part of the operations team, I was like, so what's next? It just kept me going. I wanted to learn each and every part of the business. Like when it was with the airline, I wanted to know the lounges, how they operate, and how the check-in works, and how the departure is. When it comes to management company, I wanted to know how's their safety and how's their security. Each department I wanted to kind of touch and know, and that's why I am moving through departments. And now actually I've found commercial is one of the department, I have to say, that has all parts of it. It has finance, it has safety when it comes to the concession and operators. It comes to leasing contracts, it comes to operation and the flights, are they delayed? Is there any inclement weather? So everything is in concession. So finally I found it. And I'm here now.
So both of you, obviously, I mean, even moving beyond the introduction, the resume, both of you are enormously successful and you've done more things right than wrong, obviously. Clearly, if you can just look back on something that you've done right. Can you talk a little bit about that? Something that you have done right that you would like to have done more of to advance
Wow.
you beyond where you are.
Wow. Well, I will share, being new in the industry early on and discovering where true success lied within my area of responsibility, mainly the commercial. I quickly came to the conclusion that I needed to stop referring to myself as a landlord and my partners as tenants. And I've tried really hard to instill a culture of partnership where we as an airport would take on a lot of risk. And in doing so, we'd have to become intimately involved in your business. We'd have shared goals and objectives. And so to me, dispelling this landlord-tenant relationship and moving truly to more of a partnership where my passion for a small business's success is just as strong as the owner's passion is for their business. And so, and then letting that permeate the entire organization. So not just concessions, but your custodial companies, treating them like they're your partner. Any service operator within your environment, they become your partner. It's not about compliance. It's not about contract. It's about having mutual shared goals and objectives, and you deploying all resources to achieve that on both sides. And then basically also being rewarded with the fruits of that in the end. And I think that's been really probably transformative for our organization here at DFW. If you've done business or do business at DFW, you'll know what I mean by that it's all about this partnership. And that's one thing that I can truly point to that I thought was transformative, to move away from this landlord-tenant compliance, contractual, particularly on the commercial side. You put the customer first, and then you jointly go after and deploy resources to achieve whatever results you want to achieve. And then you celebrate success together. That's a partnership. And I think that's one of the things that set DFW apart in this industry from maybe some other organizations.
It's pretty special, man. That's pretty good.
When you say other organizations, do you mean like BWI, or you were just saying?
I didn't say any
And
names. I didn't say any
he's
names.
a lot more tactful than you are.
Go ahead, Shetl.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I spent the right time in each role, each company, each way. What I would have done a little more is just to celebrate a little the employees or the passengers a little more when it comes to the cultural, to bring it out more. So we know there is Hispanic month, but there's also South Asian cultures like Diwali's tomorrow. So I would have a little spend more time on that and bring that more out there and introduce that holiday.
All right.
So,
That's awesome.
so Shetl, you both have a lot of oversight in your respective roles, right? And I love that you brought up Diwali, which starts November 1st. So two more days, right?
It's tomorrow, and then it lasts for 2 days.
Gotcha.
So
Okay. So not to get too deep into the weeds, but from a cultural standpoint, we love bringing different, fresh perspectives, being able to also educate our larger membership about, the different subsects of our membership as far as different cultures, et cetera, that we don't necessarily always see and or hear from. So with that being said, give me a little bit more as far as your, even though, being German, your Middle Eastern and Indian heritage, but a little bit more of Diwali and what exactly that is.
So Diwali is known as the Festival of Lights, is one of the most important event that the Hindu culture, especially in India, they celebrate. It symbolizes more it's victory over light, if that's understood. So anything bad that happens during, you have done throughout the year, by celebrating Diwali, it tells you that the victory wins. The truth always wins. So that's the kind of event. Or you can say it in other words, like darkness over evil, darkness or good over evil. but it's celebrated by distributing sweets, going to the temple, and getting the blessings, as well with your families. Like it's kind of sweets that you share and go house to house, and it's like similar to Halloween. You just knock for candies. Here, it's more knocking for lights.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you. And I've researched the holiday before, but again, never heard it described and explained in such a way that I truly understand. Thank you. So speaking of the celebration of lights, it's already October of 2024, guys. I don't know what happened. Time went by way too fast. And I think one of the things that we talked about and I think it was Kalia O'Guillory talked about at the She Soars conference, was giving people their flowers while they're still alive. So we talk about the celebration of light, light over darkness. Who in your life, professionally or personally, but let's start with professionally. Do you think that you maybe have not done enough for, or you really want to just kind of shout them out and give them their flowers and celebrate their life?
You mean a person or I?
Person.
Mm,
And
Wow,
why?
that's a great question. I mean, for me,
Ken, don't go too far. Don't describe it as great.
no, you know what? It's a question that I've never been asked before, and so I've never had to give it that deep thought. But it's really relative. It's actually relevant to something that I've been thinking about here lately. My wife's birthday is tomorrow, and I was thinking about, how do I celebrate her birthday and let her know that how much she's appreciated and how much she's done for our family. But when I really think about it, all the experiences that I've had in my career, she's been there. All the different moves, all the different jobs that I've had. She's always been there, and often is not recognized for that stable force that enables me and allows me to do what I do. So if there's one person I would definitely want to give their flowers to right now, it would be my wife.
Right.
well, I'll spread the flowers to
I'm sorry,
everyone.
so just Ken, we are recording this, by the way. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Oh,
you can take a
okay.
copy
Can
of
I
this
change
and
that?
oh wow, you want to change
No,
it?
no, I would. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change that.
I'm sorry, Shetl.
That's okay. I will give the flower 10 to everybody who has contributed into my life, whether it's family, colleagues, friends, everybody.
That was such a bureaucratic answer. You got to name one.
It's
Good try,
Diwali.
Shetl. You gotta name one.
Lauryn.
I see what you did there. That was very politically correct of you. She said she's in the office today. She isn't, and people are probably on here. You don't want any fights. All right, okay. Just spread the flowers across the board. All right, we'll let you
It's
have that one.
Diwali for me. I can't. I have to spread.
Spread all the light and all the love. All right.
Yes.
Well, I'm since I'm on a roll of great questions. Ricky talked about doing things right? So I mean, yes, you can do things wrong, but I think that you all have gotten to where you are today because of doing things right? Or learning from experiences that you may have had. So, I mean, Ken, you talked about, first, you don't even have to talk about DFW. We all know DFW. DFW is in the forefront of taking risks, technology, innovation, just doing some things that we don't necessarily see in the United States. And you guys apply and say, hey, we're gonna pilot it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll see. Shetl, you have a lot of oversight in your role too. Tell me about a risk that you took that maybe didn't land so well, but how did you rally back from it?
That's a good question. I have to think a little bit where I
Personal,
took
and it could
where
be
it was.
personally in your career or, something, a professional risk.
Well, taking a risk was moving from Germany to United States, even though I wanted to come and study, but knowing that I have nobody here, no family, and I just packed my backpack and came, and without even having a place where I want to live. So it kind of risky, but
Very.
everything fell in place.
Yeah, I guess
So,
for me, I would say every experience or every organization that I worked for, going to that organization was very risky. In some cases, it worked out extremely well. It allowed me to get to the next levels. In some cases, it was miserable. But in every single case, the learning and experience that I gained from that, whether it was good or bad, actually turned out to be something that I was able to draw upon in the future. So a bad experience ended up being something good, in the long run. Didn't feel that way, going through it. But in the long run, you draw from those mistakes, that you make. You learn from them and you move forward. Here at DFW, one of the things we talk about is failing fast. Let's take risk.
Mhm.
Let's get the outcome. And if we fail, let's fail soon. Let's fail fast. Let's not, drag it out. And then let's move on. Let's see how we can course correct. Let's see if we need to go in a different direction. Let's see if, there are other things we need to do to improve success around it, but let's fail fast. And so we try to empower people to be able to do that, to take risk, and then celebrate in a lot of cases some of those failures. Celebrate some of those failures, learn from them, and move on.
that's good.
Well, I mean, at some point, both of you are going to declare victory, and you're going to say, "I'm done." I've played the game my best. I've made my impact. I've accomplished what I'm going to accomplish, but I'm done. And then people are going to talk about you. So when people start talking about you, what is it that you want them to not say?
Okay, Shetl, that's yours there.
Okay, so what they shouldn't say about me. No, they can talk about me. I'm open for plus negative and positive. I'm open.
But the question is different. Because I can easily ask you, what do you want people to say about you? And you probably have a list of positive things you want your reputation, all of your experience to have earned. What is it about you what is it that you don't want them to be able to say?
I don't want them to say that it's it's quite interesting when you think about it. I don't want them to say that I don't follow through or I not trustworthy.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
For me, I would say I don't want them to say that I was a selfish person, you know, that I don't want them to say that I was self-centered, because I've, spent my career doing the opposite of that. And if they were to say that, I would feel like, wow, it's been like
Wow.
a failure. I've been a failure if they say that, because I've spent 45 years
Right,
trying to do the opposite of that.
right, all right.
That's all you got, Ricky?
Um,
I was coming with some bangers, and that was like a sue.
yeah, I know it fizzled. I mean, but great responses. I have another one, unless you want to go.
Oh
I
no,
always
well,
have one.
I was gonna say, if I know that the chat is blowing up with people's feedback. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or in the Q&A. Sorry, go ahead, Ricky.
No, the one, you always have a fallback question in your pocket just in case it kind of goes. Um, soft. So I guess one I have is what's your what would you say is your superpower?
I would say my superpower is our employees. I talked about business partners. I talk about customers. I spend a lot of time, but the employees mean everything. In my entire career, I can say that I don't remember ever missing a budget, and I don't remember missing too many goals or objectives in my entire career. And I know that that's because I've always surrounded myself with great people, and I've always had great employees working alongside of me. If there was any one superpower that I have, it's the ability to motivate, galvanize, and create shared goals and objectives with those that are around me, so that it's not just me going after it alone. It's us going after it. It's we going after it. It's the team going after it. And I've never been let down. I've never been let down when I've had that type of focus.
I agree on that one. Because the superpower could be that surrounded by good people and who brings positivity, and they support you, inspiration into your life. So it is definitely people, good people.
Right.
Somebody asked a question. How do you describe Omega Psi Phi as the best fraternity? Is that did I see that in the chat room? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. It was yeah. I I don't know if anybody wants to respond to that, but that was kind of the question.
Oh, I'm gonna pass on that one right there.
Yeah.
I'm because my husband, the member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, is probably in earshot. So someone asked, what advice would you give to those of us new to aviation but not new to business?
Oh, wow. I would say, man, buckle up. You are getting ready to go on an adventure of a lifetime. One of the things, and if you have that business savviness and business acumen in this arena of aviation, I think it can take you far. I think, and I'm going to be a little biased here, the commercial side and the customer experience side of our business and our industry we're just still scratching the surface there. Traditional operations, airline operations, traditional airport operations, that's the staple. But the ability to create experiences for your customer, to be able to generate new revenue streams, in my opinion, is where the industry is going. I mean, you think about DFW Airport's getting ready to take on $9+ billion of debt to reinvent our airport, our facilities. If we don't have a great commercial program to offset that debt, then it's all going to flow to the airlines. And if that type of debt flows to the airlines, then will the airline have the ability to grow and continue to bring passengers through your airport? I would surmise that that's part of that equation. That commercial side of the business, to me, is like the holy grail now. For example, we share 70+% of our revenues that we get from non-aeronautical revenues with our airline partners to keep their cost of operating on an airport low so that they can continue to grow. We think it's one of those equations here at DFW that's going to take us from when I started, 40-something million passengers a year to we'll top over 100 million passengers in just a couple short years. And the ability to grow that non-aeronautical commercial revenues is key. How else are you going to pay that type of debt? You got airports out there with $30 billion in debt, $8 billion. So everybody's got these huge projects. How are you going to pay for those? They're not free. And so I think the probably one of the greatest kept secrets in meeting that challenge is taking great care of your customer, growing those non-aeronautical commercial revenues, creating a strong environment of partnership. So those business experience that you mentioned, I think will go far in this industry because we're just still just scratching the surface there.
Yeah. I once knew an airport that debt service was over 50% of his operating budget. Yeah, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Shetl, I have a similar question, but a little bit different for you. So we have quite a few emerging leaders on this chat who are just impressed by both of you. But what's the biggest piece of advice you would give to someone who's new to the industry and isn't sure what their end goal or career goals are?
So what I would suggest is just network, network, and network, build relationships, and it just opens your doors and it literally guides you which way to go. So you know, it's just similar with my career. Yes, do I see myself in commercial today? Yes, but 14 years ago I didn't. So it's
Mhm.
all networking, and you never know which door opens and which way you're gonna go. Sky's the limit.
Mhm. I would echo that networking. I didn't understand the value of networking when I was young, coming out of college, starting my career. I had no idea the power of that, but now I do. So I agree. The other thing I would add to that is developing a passion around continuous learning. If I'm a young person entering this industry, not only will I focus on developing my network, strong networking, but also developing a culture of continuous learning. Don't stop learning. And this industry offers a lot of opportunity to learn, whether it's AMAC, AAAE, ACI, or your local college. There's always the opportunity to continuously learn, develop skills, and you should do that for probably the rest of it. Should be a lifetime of learning. Between that and networking, I think it will get you off to a great start in this industry.
I got one for you. So often the difference between a person being talented and being amazingly talented is their willingness to do what you're doing right now. Speaking, right? Speaking before a group of people. But both of you are doing it, extremely well, and it appears that you're very comfortable doing it. Why is that? Why is it? How do you bring yourself to a place where you feel comfortable speaking before a group of people, right? Without being concerned of, you know, what they're going to say about you or what they think about you, or you might say the wrong thing, or how do you overcome that? How do you get to a point where you're doing what you're doing so well? Because a lot of us can't get to that place.
I think you have to be comfortable where you are and where you stand with yourself in order to be able to speak freely. Like the fear is gone at one point. For me, the fear was gone the moment I made myself very clear in my mind. I was like, I need to know certain points. And once I have reached those 4 points, like the certain points that I wanted to, the fear is gone and you just speak freely. And I think, and I have to say, I am a mother too. So after you're a mother, the fear is gone anyway. So you can speak freely anywhere. So I guess, Lauryn, I am right?
Oh yeah, you don't truly know how big of a badass you are until you become a mom. You're like, there's nothing I can't do, right? That
Yeah.
is That is a fact.
Yeah. So when I had my first child, is just the fear was just gone. Like there was no such wrong and right anymore.
Mhm.
And it
For me,
normally is.
I would say practice, and not the type of practice, standing in front of a mirror and reciting and practicing. I would say take every opportunity that is afforded you to hone that skill, whether it's within your organization, take on roles within the organization, volunteer, put yourselves in situations where you have to express yourself, you have to be expressive. And over time, you're going to see with that practice, you're going to grow very comfortable and confident in doing that. But there are a lot of opportunities like, joining AMAC, joining ACI, taking on different responsibilities, can give you that avenue to kind of fine tune that skill. And the more confident you get, the more comfortable you will be in speaking out. A lot of people don't know I'm probably the most introverted person on the planet.
Mhm.
And they're like, how can that be? You talk all the time. Well, a lot of people don't know that, and it just comes over time and a level of comfort that you acquire that allow you to come off a little differently. But naturally, you may be this shy, introverted individual that no one would even recognize.
Would you or would you not say there's a perfect way to do it?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a perfect way to do it. I would just say take advantage of all the opportunities that you have that afford you the opportunity to be in front of people and make those mistakes and get nervous and understand how that feels, and then overcome that with a lot more confidence and a lot more comfort in doing it. It comes with repetition. At least from my standpoint, it came with a lot of repetition.
Yeah. No,
So one,
no one said more ums than former President Obama. And he's recognized as one of the greatest orators ever, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So one of the things you said previously is you said, and I'm gonna botch what you said, but I'm gonna summarize it. Basically, be a forever learner, right? Never be in a place where you feel like you know it all. So
Mhm.
in the spirit of being a forever learner, what do you believe? Well, excuse me, what book do you believe everyone should read?
Wow, man. So I don't have one single book. Those of who are on this call know me. I'm also the executive sponsor for Action, and that's our African American resource group here at DFW. And every year, probably for the last 10 years, we read 2 to 3 books a year. And so my bookshelf is full of books that we read as a group because it's all about that continuous learning, whether it's, Good to Great or other books. For me, Good to Great is one of my favorites because I worked for one of the 16 companies that broke through uh, from good to great. And I happened to be part of that company at the time of that transition. So I vividly remember the experiences that I had. And it was the Kroger company. It was one of the 16 companies that went from good to great that they talk about in the book. And I distinctively remember our focus as an organization, as a young manager during that time. And it was a passion around customer, passion around our employees, a passion around innovation and continuous improvement that allowed the company to get the breakthrough results that set it apart from other companies in its transition from good to great. So that's kind of one of my favorites. One of my go-to is Jim Collins' Good to Great.
Thank you. Tal, what you got for us?
So,
One book. We cannot be bureaucratic. We need one book, one author.
Tuesday with Maurice, that's by Mitch Albom. It is very close to my heart, and I read it almost every 3 months. It's a quick version, but it tells you kind of about a relationship. It's with his former college professor. So the student takes the time every Tuesday to go see the professor, and they kind of share their life stories, and it's held every Tuesday. That professor has a kind of illness that he can't leave the house. So it kind of why I'm suggesting this book is it kind of tells you to go back to your networking, go back to your relationships, and nurture the relationships that you have, and stay on the ground, and don't, just stay low key. Like, don't forget where you came from. So that's why I would suggest that book.
All right. Well, the feedback is that this has been another amazing panel, and I must agree. I mean, Lauryn and I have sat through, I mean, almost all of them, not all of them, but almost all of them, and this is at the top. You guys were enormously insightful and genuine, and you spoke from a place of experience and from the heart, and we really appreciate that. And I think the audience appreciated that as well.
Big time.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to seeing you at the next AMAC conference.
Same here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much, and happy Diwali as well.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, and thanks for showing up, Lauryn.
Always, whenever you're here, Ricky, you got to give you a hard time.
Okay. All right, guys. Bye. Much love.
Oh, go vote. Thank you, Wayman.
That's right.
Yes.
Vote.
All right. Have a great one. Bye.